In this video, you will master that how you can use MongoDB database in your application, how you can connect, how you can create the document, how you can delete the document, how you can get the document based on the key pair, value pair, how you can design the entire data structure using this powerful tool MongoDB. So this one is a complete beginner friendly tutorial. In this, you will master all the key pairs, all the syntax, all the connection modules which we have, which I'm going to tell you, which will give you a better idea that how you can utilize this powerful tool in your application. So if you are building a web2 applications, social media platform, or if you are building a blockchain application, because somehow you have to use backend for storing some sort of data, whether you are working in the front end or a backend or running your entire node on your server. So you're going to store this important information in the backend server. And at the end of this video, I'll tell you the one project which you can build, which will teach you every single thing about this MongoDB database, that how you can create authentication, multiple data sets, whether it's for e-commerce, dApp. So I'll tell you about this particular project which you can build from start to end to master MongoDB cheat sheet. So in this, we're going to talk about that what are the important things which you have to keep in mind when it's come to building a connection or creating document. So if I come back here we have the very first thing which you have to keep in mind, that first thing you have to connect the MongoDB with your application. So there are several methods which we can utilize to connect. So first, the one we have is connecting with MongoDB shell. So if you want to connect, you can easily able to apply this command. And if you want to connect with the localhost, this is how you can do that. If you want to connect with the Atlas, so it's such a powerful tool which you can install, and you can able to manage the entire database without going to the MongoDB. So that's absolutely powerful. So here we have this three method which you can use to connect MongoDB data with your application. So you can pick any one of this. So once you know about the connection, again, if you really want to master each one of these, I have already have this particular project which you can build and follow from start to end to teach you every single thing. So I want you to just take an overview that what are you going to build, and after that you can follow. So let's watch this video. Then we have the second thing, that database operation. So what are the operation you can perform on the database? So here we have a couple of methods which you can perform. So if you want to show all the database, so for example that in your cluster you have created multiple database and you want to show that, whether you want to show in the terminal or in the Atlas, this is the particular command you have to type, show DBS. If you want to get the current database, all you have to do this, type this particular command. If you want to create or switch, you can simply perform this particular task. And here we have this one, delete database. So you can simply call this db drop database and it is going to delete that. So these are the certain operation we have when it's come to database: showing, current, switching and deleting. So once you understand with that, let's move to the next one. Now we have collections. So collection is a very important thing which you have to keep in mind, that sometimes what happened that we have to create multiple collection in our database. So one collection should be for a specific resource like a user resource. One collection should be for the NFT resource. One collection for the some important data. So that's how you can create multiple collection in your database. And based on that, you're going to simply perform that. So if you want to show the collection, you can simply type this particular command. If you want to create a new collection, all you have to do is to type this method. You can call whatever you want, whatever name you will pass. This is the exact folder will be created in your database and you can easily able to see the collection. So as you can see, we have this particular collection which I have created in my live website. So we have a lot of that. So once you understand about the collection, next move to that, then you have to learn about the create document, that how you can create. So although we have a multiple method in a MongoDB which we can use to create the document in our database, that's what I'm going to list here. So the very first method we have is insert one document. So if you want to insert one document into your collection in your database, this is how you can do this. You can give the name of the database, then you can define the collection, means the folder you have created in which you want to keep the data, and you have to call this method insert one, and you have to give the value pair and the data. So this could be like huge. For example, that in our NFT marketplace, we have keeping the information about a lot of things like the user, images, description, price, IPFS, private key, secret key, user key. So you can add multiple pairs and you can assign the data. So you can call this method called insert one. It's going to insert only one, or you can simply call straight away this insert. Both will work fine. So this is how you can insert one document in your database. Let's move to the next one. And the next one we have is creating multiple document in our database. So as I told you that we have two methods, insert one and insert. So if you want to add multiple document, this is how you can do it. You can define in a form of object, and you can define the key pair and the value, and you can simply make a request, and this data will be stored in the backend server. Again, if it sounds complicated, make sure to follow this. That will teach you every single thing which you have to know, and you will be a completely backend developer. After that, we have the read method in our Mongo. So we can easily able to write the document in our database, but sometimes what happens that we have to fetch those information to display in our front end or to perform certain action. So we have a couple of methods which we can utilize to find out the specific document which we can do it. So first, if you want to find one document, all you have to do is to simply call this particular method. If you want to find multiple documents, in that you have to call this find method. So if you want to find one, call find one, and if you want to find multiple, call find. This will give you the entire document. And then if you want to get like multiple document with JSON, then you can simply call this particular one. So this will return the entire document in that particular collection. So for example, I have a folder. In that folder, I have hundreds of data of the user. So if I want to get the entire one, I can simply call this method. Or if I want to get a specific one, I can simply call this method. I can pass the ID of that user and I will have the data. Okay, so this is how you can read the data. Let's move to the next one. Now, if you want to read the data based on the field value, so like based on the parameter you want to filter the data, and that's the very common methods, common operation we perform in a front end. We allow user to filter data based on the name, based on the price, based on the different parameters. So you can perform that action as well. So if you want to allow the filtration, you can simply do that based on the name. Like you can simply pass the object and give the key and the value pair, and it's going to filter the data based on that particular category. Then if you want to find by element in array, you can simply perform these actions. You can simply give the comment, and you have to match, and you have to perform this particular method. This is a special method available in Mongo, and this one is really powerful. So if you want to match this particular parameter, it's going to filter out all the data based on this, and it's going to give you the collection of that data. Again, this particular thing I have extensively covered in my API development course. It's a 12-hour long course where we have learned every single thing from scratch. So make sure to follow that. Here we have to learn about that how you can update the document. So we have multiple options to update the document, but here I'm listed some basic ones. So like the first one we have is update one. By the name it suggests, you can simply define that. You can define the set match pair, and you can simply update the document to a specific document set which you want to do. If you want to update the multiple one, you can simply do that, call update, and you can define the key pair and the value pair. So you can create the sets. If you want to target a price, you can create the entire set, and you can simply update the pricing or the data. And that's a very common practice you have to do. So for example, that you have to create like subsections of a product, and you want to assign and update the pricing based on the 10% discount on all the subsections. So this is the performance you can perform. Oh, this is the method you can perform to do that. Once you're done with that, now comes the next one. We have to master update document. So earlier we learned about the basics. Now you can do based on the field value. So it's quite similar. You can simply target a data set based on the ID, and you can target and apply this particular method. You can rename them as well. So this one is a very common practice when you come to the authentications and restricting a particular endpoints or data sets. So this is the very common operation we follow. So that's how you can update the data set based on the key pair and the rename fields. Let's move to the next one. And the next one we have is that update document based on the sub document. So what happened that, as I told you, that one you have a key pair. So for example, that you have 100 data. In each one of the data you have a one similar key pair, and which you are targeting, and on the base of that you are changing the data set inside the all document. So that's how you can do it. You can define the name, you can define the body, and you can simply update the data. So this is a very common practice you will find when it's come to updating, and this is what generally we follow when it's come to the authentication, and we allow user to update their information about the user information. So this is the operation you're going to perform. Now let's move to the next one. Next one we have is delete document, and this one is a very simple operation. All you have to do is to call this remove function, and it's going to remove the particular data sets and give the key pair, and that's how you can remove that one. Let's move to the next one, count. So if you want to count the entire length of the data set in the collection, all you have to do is to simply call this particular method, and it's going to give you the data. So you can simply count the document. That's a very simple one. Now the next operation we have is shortening. So if we want to sort the data based on the price, based on the name, based on the description, based on the special offer which we are providing, that's the method we have. So we have these two methods. Which we can use to sort the data. One is ascending order and the second one is descending order. So this is how you can do that. If you want to go with the ascending order, you can simply give this 1, and if you want to go with the descending order, give is -1. So it's going to give you the data according to that order. Again, its database is such a huge thing, and MongoDB is such a huge. If you master this, it will teach you every single thing and it will make you an amazing developer. So that's how the shortening work. After that, we have to move to the next one called result pagination. So obviously, if you have thousands of data, thousands of users in your database, you don't want to render the entire data in just first page reload. Okay, you don't want to create that kind of cluster in your page. So that's why we have this particular feature in MongoDB to paginate, to set the query in the URL, and based on that we have to fetch the data from the database and we can display in the front end. So we have this couple of methods. The first one we have is the skip method, and we can say that 7, and the second one we have is the 4th. So you can simply limit that and you can skip that as well. So you have these two things. So you can define the limit, that how many data you want to render at the first time. In that you can set the limit, and you can also define this particular skip one. Any variables you can pass into that. That's how pagination work. After that, move to the next one called, as I told you that we have these two methods to paginate, but when it's come to displaying, you can simply set the both condition in one query. So you can define the skip method or you can define the limit. So when you set the limit, it's going to display 4, but when you will set 7, it's going to skip the 7th after that and it will display the next. So that's how it will work. Once you're done with that, let's come back to the next one called index. An index is such a powerful in MongoDB database which can allow you to create a section of the data which can be utilized and memory efficiency. So you have to learn about it. Again, I have covered this extensively in the project, so make sure to follow that. Everything will be clear to you. We have talked about the backend connection, Atlas, that how we can create this different indexing. That's all we have done. So once you know about the index, let's move to the next one called drop index. So drop, as the name suggests, that if you want to drop and delete something, you can simply call this particular method which we have called drop index and give the name of the indexing. It's going to remove. So that's the one we have. After that, we have this text search. So sometimes what happened that we have to allow the user to search something, and based on that we have to filter the data. Then this is the method we have. So the very first one we have is create text on index. So maybe you have a specific value pair, key pair, and you want to search the data based on that. All you have to do is to pass in the content and it's going to filter. But if you call this find method, in that you can simply define the search key pair and pass the data. It's going to filter the data. So this is the two method we have when it's come to searching based on the index. We have is find by range query. So if you want to get the data based on the range that specific from this to this or greater or lower to this, then you can perform. These are the actions we have. Again, you have to display about the view and you can define the greater or equal to. So like we have multiple options, multiple method in MongoDB is like GT means greater equal, or like GTE means greater or equal to, or GT means greater. So we have bunch of method which you can simply call and you can simply arrange the data based on this. Again, this all are covered in the course which you can simply follow. Now after that we have this, the last one which you can simply perform in this two ways. So find course where view are less than itna. So if you want to find a course whose view is less than 70, then this is the method you have to call. So this is the method we have called LT, means less than that. All you have to do is to call that and it's going to give you the result. If you want to get more than that, then this is the method you have to call, LTE, and it will give you the entire information. And this is the entire playlist which I was talking about. Make sure to follow this and that will teach you every single thing which you have to know as a backend developer. We have covered every single thing which you have to know, like creating document, refactoring of data, reusable models like global error handling, authentications, review model, creating document, deleting document, connecting with the multiple data set, designing the highest performance course. All of the things we have built here. We have solved some real world problem which you can able to find. So make sure to check this particular project, that will teach you every single thing. And for the time being, that's the complete cheat sheet for a MongoDB database. I hope you guys have got an idea that how you have to learn, what are the things you have to learn if you are a complete beginner, and how you can perform certain operations on the MongoDB database. So make sure to come and check all of this, whatever we have covered. This will teach you every single thing which you have to know about the MongoDB database, like how you can call the data, how you can manage the data, how you can create your own backend development. And if you understand truly all of this thing, you can 100% ready to apply for a job as a backend developer, and you can easily able to build your amazing portfolio. So that's the only thing I want to talk about in this video. Hope you guys have got an idea that what are things you have to learn. And you have to learn, if you're a backend developer, if you're a front-end developer, if you're a blockchain developer, you have to know backend, because when you will work as a full stack blockchain developer or full stack, you will be always have an advantage to get a job, get a project, because right now there is a lot of demand for the full stack blockchain developer. So make sure to complete this particular approach and learn every single thing about the backend development. With that, I'm ending this video. If you're new to my channel, hit like and subscribe. That will motivate me a lot to come up with this project. And if you have any doubt, any questions, do ask me in the comment section so I can answer that. And all the starter files are provided to all of you guys, and the final code, so you can check that as well. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.